evening, ladies and gentlemen. These are two more of our special guests, Mr. Michael Doyle, Director and owner of Ceremonial and Doyle, and Mr. Charles Blocker, Founder and CEO of IC Partners Limited. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. What are your thoughts in regards to the developments here in Thailand for the medical cannabis industry?
Louise, I just want to thank all the organizers because we're really honored to be here tonight, Charlie and I. And it's been a real privilege to be a part of this seminar over the last few weeks. We're really optimistic about the opportunities presented by the medical cannabis market in Thailand. I'm a lawyer, so I talk about regulatory things. The regulatory environment's not crystal clear as of yet, but definitely things seem to be moving in the right direction.
And to match up with that, you have to have capital to be put into the system and to put into that business undertaking. So this regulatory framework is actually paving a way quite nicely for both medical tourism and wellness tourism both. So always under the guidance and auspices of a medical doctor. But I think when you look at the other parts of the framework that are also in places, Thailand's very favorable pharmaceutical industry, legal framework, and also some of the incentives, which maybe we can talk about a little bit more. So it really presents both an intermediate and long-term horizon.
Great. Thanks so much, Mr. Doyle. I actually want to touch back on this, Mr. Blocker, because I think you both, in our 11th through our 13th interview online with you, virtually, you guys were speaking a lot about the framework that you're hands-on developing and involved in directing, right?
So as of last year, Thailand became the first country in Asia to legalize the production, sale, import, and export of medical cannabis, which is really a historic thing. Now, that didn't automatically mean that foreign investors are allowed to invest in that, or even local investors for that matter. However, it provides a framework, a clear framework of what the current government plans for the future. You know, investors all want as much certainty as possible, and there's been a lot of positive steps.
Yeah, and I think you do have to have some courage, but you can also be quite practical. As Michael alluded to, the licenses that are coming out actually are awarded to a government body. It could be a hospital, could be a university, clinic, but it's a government entity. So it's up to the private sector to be diligent, clever, and also just relationship-minded over the next roughly about 3.5 years as the platform is built. But who would have thought, sitting here in 2018, that you would have this legal framework, plus it's obviously good for populist type politics too, because it helps the agrarian sector. It'll be a great export product of much higher value. And when we talk about that cannabis, we're really talking about the CBD export. So this is quite relevant in many disciplines, from acne, skin cream to pain management to just any type of hypertension that you might have. So it's a defined market outside of Thailand, and it should only get better.
Thank you so much. One last question, tying into what you were saying. It's very important, establishing the framework and the regulatory practices that you guys are directly involved in. And for one last part, before we finish with you two, I would like you to each introduce and give us a brief overview of what Ceremonial and Doyle does. And then after that, Mr. Blocker, you can give us an overview of how IC Partners Limited is. Okay? Thank you.
So Ceremonial and Doyle is a Bangkok-based law firm. We are a business practice that's been around since 1992. Most of our clients, we have both foreign investor clients and Thai clients that are listed on the stock exchange here. We help people, we help investors from projects ranging from industrial projects to finance to labor issues, and whenever there's a really interesting new area of the law like this, we always want to be on the forefront whenever possible.
We work closely with a number of lawyers, but you do need commercially minded lawyers who have done their homework in order for us to do effectively. IC Partners is a boutique financial advisory focused on real estate and market entry. This one sort of cuts across both because you are growing on real estate, primarily leasehold land, depending about how you structured it. But it's really about the de-risking of market entry with regard to eventual incentives that could be there with the Thailand Board of Investment, given their practices in the pharmaceutical industry for medicine making and medicine ingredients. But just in the interim, just doing basic underwriting and understanding those risks with regard to implementation, because for the next 3.5+ years, you will need to have a partnership with a Thai government body, and if you're a foreigner, you will only be able to own about 33.3% of the entity. But many ways to structure that to achieve mutual economic goals. We help with that.
Excellent. That's all so exciting. Thank you so much, Mr. Doyle and Mr. Blogger. We look forward to hearing more from you later about your expertise and involvement with the regulatory reform and the future of the medical cannabis industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Louis.